बनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा जयो राधा वल्लभ श्री राधे जयो जगन्नाथा बलदेवा जयो सुभद्रा जयो गौरानिताय जयो गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद जयो प्रभुपाद Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Ram Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrind Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, welcome all of you for today's discussion of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. We are reading from Canto 8, Chapter 20, titled as Bali Maharaja Surrenders the Universe. We are reading from verse number 22. Am I right? Is it 22? Yeah. Kaye balistasya mahavibhute Sahartvigacharya sadasya etat Dadarsha vishvam trigunam gunatmake Bhutendriyarthashaya jiva yuktam Kaye balistasya mahavibhute Sahartvigacharya sadasya etat Dadarsha vishvam trigunam gunatmake Bhutendriyarthashaya jiva yuktam. Prabhuji. Kaye balistasya mahavibhute Tvigacharya sadasya etat Dadarsa Vishwam Trigunaatmake. Sahartvik-acharya sadasya etat. Dadarsha Vishwam Trigunam Gunatmake. Bhutendriyarthashaya Jiva Yuktam. Matajis. Kaye, in the body, Balihi Maharaja Bali, Tasya, of the personality of Godhead, Mahavibhute, of that person who is equipped with all wonderful opulences, Sahartvik Acharya Sadasyaha, with all the priests, acharyas and members of the Holy Assembly. Etat, this, Dadarsha, saw, Vishwam, the whole universe, Trigunam, made of three modes of material nature. Guna Atmake, in that which is the source of all such qualities. Bhuta, with all the gross material elements. Indriya, with the senses. Artha, with the sense objects. Ashaya, with mind, intelligence and false ego. Jiva Yuktam, with all the living entities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Bali Maharaja, along with all the priests, acharyas and members of the assembly, observed the Supreme Personality of Godhead's universal body, which was full of 6 opulences. That body contained everything within the universe, including all the gross material elements, the senses, the sense objects, the mind, intelligence, and false ego. The various kinds of living entities and the actions and reactions of the 3 modes of material nature. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. Krishna is the origin of everything. Vasudeva sarvamiti. Krishna is everything. Matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshva avasthitaha. Everything rests in the body of the Lord, Yet the Lord is not everywhere. Mayavadi philosophers think that since the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, has become everything, He has no separate existence. Their philosophy is called Advaitavada. Actually, however, their philosophy is not correct. Here, Bali Maharaja was the seer of the personality of Godhead's universal body, and that body was that which was seen. Thus, there is a Dvaitavada. There are always two entities, the seer and the seen. The seer is a part of the whole, but he is not equal to the whole. The part of the whole, the seer, is also one with the whole, but since he is but a part, he cannot be the complete whole at any time. This achintya bheda bheda, simultaneous oneness and difference, is the perfect philosophy propounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I'll read 23 as well. Rasam achasthang ritaletha padayor mahim mahindran purushasya janghayoho Patatrino januni vishvamurter urvor ganam marutamindra senaha. Thereafter, Bali Maharaja, who was occupying the seat of King Indra, could see the lower planetary systems such as Rasatala on the soles of the feet of the Lord's universal form. He saw on the Lord's feet the surface of the globe and the surface of his calves all the mountains, and on his knees the various birds, and on his thighs the varieties of air. Purport. The universal situation is described here in regard to the complete constitution of the Lord's gigantic universal form. The study of this universal form begins from the soul. Above the soles are the feet, above the feet are the calves, above the calves are the knees, and above the knees are the thighs. Thus, the parts of the universal body, one after another, are described herein. The knees are the place of birds, and about that are varieties of air. The birds can fly over the mountains, and about the birds are varieties of air. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishna Vamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yontah pravishya mama vacham imam prasuktam sanjeevayathyakhila shaktidhara swadhamna anyamsta hasta charana shravanattvagadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Hare Krishna. So this episode that is going on in the Bhagavatam, in the chapter 20, is where Vamandev has appeared. Vamandev has appeared and he's showing his Trivikrama form now. He's showing his Trivikrama. Trivikrama means one who has conquered the three worlds. So Vamana, the little dwarf Vamana, has expanded into Trivikrama now. So he's expanded in all the three universes. Bali has made a mistake in assessing the personality. But before we go there, I think it is also interesting just to meditate on the glories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. In the first canto, the second chapter, Vyasadeva writes, Shrinvatam swakatah Krishnaha punyashravana kirtanaha hridyantasto hyabadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. Shrinvatam swakatah Krishnaha, swakatah Krishnaha. One who has developed the urge to hear the message of the Supreme Personality. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. What is the effect of someone who has developed this urge to hear the personality of Godhead or the messages of the personality of Godhead? Hridi Antaha. Inside the heart, Hridi Antastha Hi Abhadrani. Prabhupada interestingly translates Abhadra. Now you know the word Abhadra. What is the opposite of the word Abhadra? Huh? Sorry? Subhadra. Abhadra, Subhadra, or Bhadra. Bhadra means auspiciousness, or Subhadra means extreme auspiciousness. Therefore, we worship Subhadra Devi, who is a deity of extreme auspiciousness, who appears as a sister of Lord Krishna. So, Abhadrani, Srila Prabhupada translates as desire to enjoy matter. It is Abhadra. Abhadra means inauspicious. What is inauspicious? Matter is not inauspicious. The desire to enjoy matter is inauspicious. What do we understand by desire to enjoy matter? Is desiring to enjoy matter desiring to eat ice cream? What do we mean by desiring to enjoy matter? Not dovetailing into the service of Krishna. Okay. Can we extrapolate a little bit more? Sorry? Satisfy our own senses, which means satisfying what senses? Such as? Such as? Yeah?
Your own sense,
And the most important sense? The mind. The mind. Because desire to enjoy matter emanates from this vicious mind. Krishna says, Uddhared atmanatmanam nanatmanam avashadayet atmaiva atmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmanaha. The mind is the friend and the enemy as well. That mind which we feed the mind to enjoy matter, because it's actually the mind which enjoys. The senses are the medium or the instrument for the mind to enjoy. When the tongue eats the ice cream, who takes pleasure? It's actually not the tongue, it's the mind. Wow, what an ice cream, you know. Incidentally, there was a rishi, there was a sage in Vrindavan. A desire came to his mind that many days has passed, I have not eaten kheer for many days. So he went to a grihastha, he said, sweet rice. He went to a grihastha and he says, can you arrange kheer for sannyasis or Babajis. He says, yes, Maharaj, please let me know when, where, and how many are coming. He said, some devotees will come, arrange. He says, how many, Maharaj? 10? This Maharaj said, 20. 20 are coming. So the day was decided, the place was decided, the sannyasi Baba came. And the Grihastha says, welcome, Maharaj. Where are the other 19? He says, I am all the 20. So the Grihastha was a bit surprised. Okay, he served more, he served. So this Babaji ate all the 20 people's kheer. So much so, for the second serve, the third serve, the mind was saying, wow, it's been almost a year since I've tasted kheer. The third, fourth, fifth, mind saying, enough, enough. Seventh, 10th. Then Babaji says, you wanted it? You wanted it? Now have it. Now have it. Now have it. By the time Babaji reached the 20th kheer, the mind said, this is the last I will ever desire to eat kheer. So, Babaji has his own way of teaching the mind how not to desire matter in the next instance. So, vidhunoti suhrit satam. When one urges the desire to hear Krishna Katha, naturally the inauspiciousness of enjoying matter goes away. Enjoying matter is not only done by the five senses, but the sixth most important sense, which is the mind. And most of the mind, as Mataji was saying, false ego. It feasts on ego as well. So mind is a very vicious thing, but if we make it a friend and dovetail the mind to hear the messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then this mind has the capacity to deliver us. Therefore, mind is a very powerful equipment that Krishna has given. It is a conduit between a physical and spiritual existence. So therefore, we have to use the mind. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho, Krishna says. Mana eva manushyanam. This mind is the one which is the reason for bondage and liberation. So therefore, we have to entice the mind to hear the stories or the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. And here, we are hearing the pastime of a Mahajan who is Bali Maharaj, who is none other than the grandson of another Mahajan who is Prahlad Maharaj. What a parampara he has got, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali, but both are Daityas, the sons of Diti. So, here Bali has given the three worlds. Bhagavatam, I was hearing Srila Prabhupada today morning, and Prabhupada was saying, Bhagavatam is so advanced that it encompasses everything. It has spiritual knowledge, cultural knowledge, social knowledge, historical knowledge, are sometimes related to war and political knowledge and things like that. So Bhagavatam is a complete literature. In here, Bali and Prahlad comes from the Daitya Vamsha, and right now Bali had occupied the position of a king. Now one may think, what is wrong in it? Indra anyways did not desire it. Krishna says, I will give you what you deserve, not what you desire. Although Bali was a Mahajan, and in fact, because of this activity, he will be awarded as the Indra in the next Manvantara, not in this Manvantara. But Bali was in a hurry to get Indra's position. So therefore, he has to be removed from that position and Indra has to be reinstated. So that's why all of this pastimes is going on. And Aditi has worshipped to have the Lord as her son. He's come as the brother of Indradev now. Now, it's interesting, Bali Maharaj has overridden the instructions of his guru, Śrīmad. You have seen Śrīmad has advised him not to be careful of this Brahmana. He looks suspicious, and Hare sometimes does this, so be very careful. Bali Maharaj says, I have promised, because you know how Dvamana also tricked him. He says, I want 3 footsteps. I am a brahmachari, so brahmachari usually does yagna with his spiritual master. So I need 3 steps, 3 steps land, 3 steps like this, 3 steps. I need a square plot to put my yagna kunda. And Bali Maharaj says, it's an insult to me that you have come to me, who is Triloka Adhipati. I have conquered the 3 worlds and you are asking me mere 3 steps? Please ask me more. And that's how he trapped, Vamana trapped Bali Maharaj. But somehow he had given up, and then the Lord says, I just want 3 steps. You give it to me or I'm walking away. And then he gives it. And then see what has happened, because the Lord has expanded. It seems when Bali has overridden the instructions of his spiritual master, it seems that as if he knew that it was a Supreme Lord. In fact, there is a pastime explained, very similar pastime explained in a Vamana Purana also. As we know, Vyasadeva sometimes does not completely gives his information little here and little here and little here. So one has to have knowledge of all the Puranas in one sense to understand the complete picture. In the Vamana Purana also this is explained a little bit, where Bali and all his Vamshaj are seeing disturbing omens, Omen means Lakshana. Lakshana means he's seeing some inauspicious signs are visible to Bali and all his kinsmen. So they then approach Prahlada. Prahlad Maharaj was old by then, Virochana's father. So they approach and Bali says, I am seeing some inauspicious signs, my dear Tata, grandfather. Can you please tell me what is so inauspicious? Because now I have conquered the whole 3 worlds. The victory is ours. We are now ruling the 3 worlds and the Devatas have been subdued. Then Prahlad Maharaj also is feeling that. And Prahlad knows that what Bali has done is wrong, but he has not expressed his desire yet. Then Prahlad Maharaj goes into Samadhi. He goes into deep Samadhi and he starts meditating to see what is going on. And in that meditation, Vyasadeva writes that Prahlad sees that the Lord or Lord Hare has appeared inside the womb of Aditi. Now, Prahlad Maharaj also is seeing a universal form. He is seeing the Lord inside Aditi's in the womb, and then he's seeing the Lord, and then he sees inside the Lord, he is seeing Bali and Indra being destroyed. And inside that, he is also seeing Prahlad Maharaj seeing the Lord. So it's almost like Yashodama is seeing Krishna's mouth, that Krishna has eaten mud. He's seeing a very similar universal form. And then in the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna requests to see the universal form, Pashyame Yogam Aishwaram, Krishna says, you can see, behold my mystic opulence, and you can see whatever you desire. So you can see what's historical, what's present, what's in the future, you can see Arjuna. In the same way, Prahlada is kind of inquiring, what is going to happen to my grandson? So in that, he's able to see that Bali Maharaj will be eventually destroyed. He will be pushed down to the Patala. So Prahlad Maharaj has got a vision now. And he retracts from his meditation and then explains to Bali that the Lord is incarnating and this is the end of your glory. He tells it to Bali Maharaj. So that means before Bali has met Vamanadev, he already has understood. But what Bali does is, because somebody gets puffed up by power and fame, Bali says, after all it's Hare and we have such a big Sainya, we will defeat him. This is what comes out of his mouth, Bali's mouth. The moment Bali says this, Prahlad Maharaj, it angers Prahlad Maharaj a lot. Prahlada then becomes very angry, and in a fit of anger, he says, may this false ego be the cause of your destruction. May you be bereft of all the opulence you have earned, and may all inauspicious befall onto you. Prahlad Maharaj says this. Bali Maharaj is just flabbergasted. He says, my God, my grandfather cursed me right now. And he says, Tata, what happened? Why did you curse me? And then Prahlad Maharaj comes back to his senses. It's very similar to what happens when Valmiki starts to compose Ramayana. Because he curses the hunter, if you remember. Because the hunter has shot a bird, and then Valmiki spontaneously curses the hunter. But actually, when such exalted personalities speak something, they can never curse anyone. They can never bring abhadra to anyone, because they never carry that energy in them. Whatever they say, even their curse is a blessing, actually. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj for a while contemplates, and he says, look, I do not know why these words came out from my mouth, and I do not know why the Lord made me speak this curse to you. But rest assured, if you surrender to the Lord, all auspiciousness will be with you. So make sure you always keep the Lord in the center of everything that you do. So this is the instruction Prahlada has already given Bali Maharaj. So therefore, who is Bali's guru in one sense? Prahlada is guru, because Prahlad Maharaj is asking Bali to surrender to the Lord. Prahlada has already said that the Lord will come to you and he will ask something from you. So now coming back to this position, that where Bali is now, Vamana is manifesting his form and he's understood what has to be said. Now taking back a little bit to the universal form that Arjuna had requested, because in these two verses, in the previous verse also Prabhupada writes about the universal form. In the Bhagavad Gita, Supreme Personality of God, it says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. Krishna is the origin of everything. Arjuna also desired to see the universal form in the Bhagavad Gita, is it not? Why did he desire? Because Prabhupada writes many places, a devotee does not desire to see the universal form. But why did Arjuna desire to see the universal form?
To make everybody know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God.
Correct. Want to establish that, yes, Krishna is indeed the Supreme Vishnu, the Supreme Hare, and the all-pervading Supreme Personality, of the omnipotent and omniscient and omnipresent Lord. To show the world the opulence of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna says, behold my mystic opulence. But if that is so, why did Krishna give him divyam dadami chakshuhu? Why did he give him that superior divine eyes?
Because without those vision, he can't see.
Correct. So, the Lord's manifestation in this cosmic manifestation, the Lord's, how he manifests in this cosmos is not visible to the naked eye, because our naked eye is very limited how we perceive matter and how we perceive spirit. But again, this eyes was divine. Divyam, the word divine comes from divyam again. Divyam is a Sanskritam word. Divyam dadami chakshuhu. I will give you divine eyes by which you can behold my form. Lord's all forms are divine. Lord doesn't have a material form. Lord doesn't have a material form. But what does it mean in this purport, in the second translation? He could see the lower planetary systems such as Rasatala on the soles of the Lord's feet. He saw the Lord's feet, the surface of the globe. On the surface of his calves are the mountains and his knees. What is this imaginative vision that Bali is seeing? This is very similar to what Arjuna was seeing, or what Brahmadev explains to Narada Muni in the second canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is this vision? So what does it mean that we are seeing on the soles, the lower planetary systems, on the knees he's seeing, on the calves he's seeing the mountains, on the knees he's seeing on the surface of the calves and on his knees various birds, and thighs the varieties of air.
3 dimensions.
3 dimensions, okay. Anything else? Because if you're seeing the mountains on the Lord's calves, what does it mean? It is, I just want to see your opinion on it before I speak. What do you think that when you see the Lord's calves, you have mountains on the calves? Okay, if it is a gigantic form of the Lord, and if mountains are matter, does it mean the Lord's body is made out of matter, the gigantic form? Are we alluding that his body is made of matter? Okay, it's a comparison in what context? How gigantic the Lord is, and he's the origin of everything, and he's the sustainer of everything. Because the moment you speak of the space, the universe, one may say, where is the universe created? You need a space for everything, isn't it? We have built this 197 Dank Street. Before we build this temple, we need a space. We need a plot. Is it not? We need space for everything. Space means akasha. So for anything to exist, there has to be a basis. There has to be a basis. And that basis is the Lord. It is not that the Lord is material or the body of the Lord is material. This particular philosophy comes from the Sri Vaishnava philosophy, where His Divine Grace Ramanujacharya also said this, to say that it is Shariratmaka Bhava, means the Lord, the whole universe is nothing but the Lord's body. But then Acharya Madhva says, no, it is not the Lord's body per se, because this universe is going through destruction and creation. Then it implies that the Lord's body goes through destruction and creation. No, the Lord's body does not go through destruction and creation, because the material world gets destroyed one day, is it not? When the Anta Pralaya happens, the final delusion happens, the whole universe gets powdered into atomic particles and enters the Lord Mahavishnu's body, is it not? So does it mean that the universal body of the Lord gets destroyed? No, all it means is for the universe to rest. the basis is Krishna. Aham sarvasya prabhu. Everything emanates from me. That's why Prabhupada writes that in the purport. So that is the understanding when Bali Maharaja is seeing the universal form of Vamanadev. It is depicting that I am the basis of everything. Bali, that 3 words that you have captured, it is inside me. I am the Akasha. I am the space within which everything resides. So that is what is being shown. And this universal form Krishna has shown to many people in Mahabharata. Whom do we see? Yashoda Mai sees the universal form of the Lord. Yeah. And then, where did Krishna show the universal form? Arjuna in Kurukshetra. Where else? To Duryodhana. Because Duryodhana says, bind this Krishna, put him into prison. And who else saw the universal form? Who saw that? Dhritarashtra saw a light flashing, but not necessarily the universal. Someone else saw the universal form. Sanjaya saw the universal form. But all these universal forms are different because everybody sees according to their capacity. Somebody comes and takes darshan of Shri Gaurnita and Radha Vallabha. There is a difference of how we take the darshana and how exalted personalities take the darshan. We might see clothes, embroidery, something else, but the exalted personalities might be seeing something else totally different. So everybody sees according to their capacities and inherent limitations. So everybody has limitations. There is taratamya among devotees as well. So therefore, what Prabhupada was seeing is different to what we could envision. Prabhupada's in one I don't know if it was a temple in US, when Prabhupada entered the temple, when he looked at the deities, he understood the deities were not offered, the offerings were not going on properly. Just by looking at the deities, Prabhupada could say that. So what vision is that? How can one develop that vision where he is not seeing the deity made of 5 elements? He is seeing the deity as Krishna personified himself, and he's seeing Krishna has thinned up, he's not eating well. Can you imagine? We can't even imagine that. When can we reach to that position when we can see the deity as not made of matter? So this is how the difference is. And now, if we ask the bigger question, why does Bhagavatam repeatedly bring this universal form? In many places, if you contemplate, why does Bhagavatam repeatedly brings up this universal form? One may say, Prabhu, devotees are not interested in universal form. But Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is not different from Krishna. So why is Bhagavatam bringing up it repeatedly? Because it is also training us to do darshana paddhati, how to vision, how to see the Lord. When we enter the altar, we chant the mantra. Kapila Muni says, Sanchintayed Bhagavatas Charanara Vajranukoshat Dhvajasaroruhalancha Nadhyam Uttunga Rakta Vilasanna Khachakravala Jyotsna Bhirahata Mahad Hridayandhakaram. There is a process of how we take darshan of the Lord. That is explained by Kapila Muni in the 3rd canto, the 25th chapter of devotional service. Darshana, there is a darshana paddhati. One has to first look at the lotus feet of the Lord. That vision first destroys the anarthas. Vajranukusha dhvaja saroruha lanchanadhyam uttunga rakta vilasan nakha chakravala jyotsna birahata mahad hridayandhakaram. Jyotsna means the sparkle from the nails of the Lord. Jyotsna birahata. Ahata means it hits. What does it hit? Hridaya andhakaram. Sometimes, people say, we have to have inner peace. Is it not? When you close your eyes, what do you see? What do you see? Exactly. That is what is filled in us. Darkness. How can you attain peace? You can attain darkness only. So the idea is, when you close your eyes, it's filled inside the mind, it is dark. Inside the body, it is dark. In fact, that is why we pray, Om Ajnanatimihiran Andhasya Jnananjana Shalakhaya. Take me from darkness to light, my dear Gurudev. So that is why we pray, because we exist in darkness. Darkness does not mean it is without light. Darkness means ignorance. It is full of ignorance, because the moment we close this eyes, what are we seeing? Why do we see darkness? Because I'm attached to this instrument called the body. And therefore I see darkness only. But when the acharyas close their eyes, they don't see darkness. They see Krishna's pastimes going on at all time, place and circumstances. When we see Krishna's pastimes, it is not you have to understand one thing. Mind also has a projector in its capacity. Mind projects Krishna's pastimes. You close your eyes and imagine Krishna's pastimes. But hang on, have you seen Krishna? If somebody asks, have you seen Krishna? Yes, Prabhu. My mind was actually seeing the Rasalila pastime, Prabhuji. But have we seen Krishna at all? How does Krishna look like? Mind has the capacity to project some form of Krishna, to project based on what we have heard. But actually, we have not seen Krishna. It is just an illusionary picture that the mind is projecting. You know why? Why is it so? Why is it so? Huh? No, but why is it is an illusionary? Why do we say it is although our mind is projecting a picture in our mind, a movie in our mind, it is still illusory, although it is about Krishna and Radha? Okay, that's one thing. What is the next reason? You're close. Okay, what's the evidence? The evidence is, how long you will see this Leela? 9 o'clock bajte hi khichdi yaad aayega. Is it not? Because if somebody has seen Krishna, no other desire remains for him to be fulfilled. But then you just told me you're seeing Radha and Krishna in your mind, and now you're thinking of khichdi? So that was just a temporary illusory picture that the mind creates based on your hearing. But yes, but that is good, but that is not on a completely spiritual platform yet. So therefore, we practice meditation. Fake it until you make it, they say. Yes, we imagine Krishna's pastime. That is why we are advised when we chant not to do Leela Smaran while we are chanting. Because Leela Smaran means what? It is just an illusory projection of the mind. Based on whatever little bit Z News, Z TV, this TV we have seen, and then we will imagine some hero's face in Krishna. Oh, how does Krishna look? He might look like, Hrithik Roshan or some person. You'll put some superimposition of some hero's face. That's still an illusionary reflection of what our mind, because mind can only project what it has been fed. Is it not? Mind can only project what it has been fed. So what have we fed since day one? Ahara nidra bhayamaitunamscha samanyanetat pashubhi naranam. And when we are reading Bhagavatam, it is gradually getting purified. Shrinvatam swakatah krishnaha punya shravana. The abhadra is still there. It has to gradually go. And that will manifest only when we are almost crossing the bhava platform. Even in the bhava platform, there are chances that people will fall down. That is what happened to Bharata Muni. He fell down. So therefore, unless one comes to the premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena, one comes to that when the eyes are anointed with love, then he probably will stay in that position for many hours and many days. He has to be woken up. Prabhuji, breakfast ke liye utho na. Then he will say, Acha, kitne din beet gaye? 3 days beet gaye, Prabhuji. So that's why you hear many acharyas in the sampradayas, they go into samadhi and they are enjoying the pastimes and they don't have any perception of external time, because the external time has stopped for them. They don't physically exist anymore. So therefore it is important that we follow this darshana paddhati. That is why one may ask, Prabhu, you said the universal form of the Lord is also divine. If it is divine, how can we then see the deity as divine? How can we then see Krishna's holy name as divine? How can we perceive the katha of Krishna as divine? Because we are perceiving all of these through our material senses only, is it not? Ultimately, all of this, how is it going? How are we seeing with our material eyes? How are we hearing with our material ears? How are we tasting prasadam with our material tongue? So in fact, the medium is still material. So then how do you then actually perceive something that is spiritual? Because spiritual means, Krishna has 3 Shaktis. What are they? Antaranga, Tatastha and Bahiranga. Krishna's form, name, fame, pastimes are all Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. And we are Tatastha Shaktis. How does a Tatastha Shakti access something that is not at all inherent in the Tatastha Shakti, Antaranga Shakti of the Lord? How does it happen? It so happens that when the deity installation happens, what do? We do prana pratisthapana. We invoke the presence of the Lord. When that happens, the spiritual energy of the Lord is invoked in the 5 elements, the Pancha Mahabhuta, which is made of earth, water, ether and fire, the material elements with which the deity is made. When the prana pratisthapana is done, the Acharya will invoke the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord inside the deity, because the Acharya has access to the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. Similarly, our 5 senses, including the mind, although it is material, when we get initiated, when we associate with the devotees, when we chant the holy name of the Lord, gradually the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord is invested. What is the famous verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? Where the senses get endowed or imbued with the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. Atah Shri Krishna Nama Adi na bhavet indriyaihi. Krishna Nama Adi na bhavet indriyaihi. Indriya, you cannot manifest this in our senses. You cannot. We cannot. Atah Shri Krishna Nama Adi na bhavet indriyaihi. Sevan mukhehi jivha adav. First chanting of the holy name has to be done. Sevan mukhehi jivha adav. Then swayameva spuratyadaha. Then, because the holy name has been manifested by the spiritual master, and then we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, then because the holy name is recited, the holy name brings the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord based on the capacity of the jiva, on his desire and his practice of bhakti. To that degree, that Antaranga Shakti is manifested. And to that degree, he is then gradually transcending to bhava, or sometimes back to many lower stages, and then bhava, and then gradually to prema. So that is how darshana paddhati is told to us. And that is why here, in these instances, Bali was seeing Vamanadeva as the adhara. Adhara means he is the foundation on which everything exists. To him, what shall I give? I have agreed to give him the three steps, but actually it looks like he owns everything. In fact, he owns me as well. Therefore, he surrenders his head to say, now I surrender my false ego, which was thinking that I own the 3 worlds. My Lord, you own everything. So it is to humble. Now, coming to the Supreme Personality of Godhead's form, Lord likes to show his form. It looks like. He likes to say, look at me, because Barha Pedam Natavara Karnayo Karnikaram Bibhradvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chamalam Randhran Venoradhara Sudhayag Gopa Vrindar Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi. This is the vision of the gopis when Krishna is entering the forest of Vrinda. Barha Pedam Natavara Vapu. Krishna is, imagine, again, let your mind project an illusory image at this point in time, because we don't know how Krishna looks like. Of course, he's blackish blue, very handsome young boy. But the gopis are seeing Krishna. And when we see how the gopis are seeing, perhaps the Lord will be merciful on us to also give us that vision. And Krishna is entering, and how do they see? Barha. Barha means peacock feather. He's adorned himself with a peacock feather. Barha Pedam Natavara Vapu. Vapu means the body. Natavara. Just as a dancer, just as a dramatist is designed, he's decorated himself. Natavara Vapu Karnayo Karnikaram. He's decorated his ears. Karnayo. There is earrings, and the earrings are dancing, and he's just entering. Just imagine a slow motion, Krishna is coming in. And then Bibhradvasa, his yellow garments. Bibhrad means it's glistening yellow. Bibhradvasa Kanaka Kapisham, golden. Kanaka means golden. Kanaka Kapisham. And then in the end they say Gita Kirti, and behind him are the gopas. Behind him. And then in the third one, Randhran Venoradhara Sudhaya. He's playing his flute, Randhran. In the holes of the flute, Randhran Adhara. He's put his lotus lips, Adhara Sudhaya, Venor Adhara Sudhaya, Purayan Gopa Vrindar. He's actually playing the flute, but when he's playing the flute, the Gopa Vrindar behind him is glorifying Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam. He's putting his lotus swapada, pada means his lotus feet, Vrindaranyam. He's entering the forest with his feet on the ground, pravishad Gita Kirtihi. Gopa Vrindair Gita Kirtihi. The Gopas are singing his glories and he is entering as if he's as a dancer inside the forest. And this is the vision of the gopis as he enters Vrindavan's forest. Now, like this, when Krishna likes to display himself because he's the Supreme Lord. And therefore, why does he display himself? Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha. So that we get attracted to him. Because we are always abhadra, we have to become subhadra by getting attracted. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna. We have to get attracted to Krishna and his katha. So therefore, in the same way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also liked to show his form. Where did he show his beautiful form? Many places again, is it not? And in one of the forms where Rasanandani Mataji has painted this picture, Prabhupada liked this picture a lot, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed the six-armed form, Shadbhuja form. Why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and where did he show this six-armed form? To whom? To Sarvabhauma-Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai and Nityananda Prabhu. He shows it to Lord Nityananda, he shows it to Prataparudra, and shows it to Sarvabhauma-Bhattacharya. Three times, and all three saw it differently. It's not the same six-armed form, because some people saw the conch shell, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Some people saw these particular forms, where he had a bow and an arrow, and a flute and a stick. Why did he show this? Because the Lord likes to show his form. That is why he likes to show. And here, he is shown this form. Prabhupada says, the beauty of meditating on the sixth-armed form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so nice. For us, how do we have to imagine Bali Maharaja's vision? We can actually imagine that in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Prabhupada writes, Lord Rama is very sweet to his devotees. And he also comes as a protector. So when we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, His Holiness Indradumna Maharaj says, when we see the sixth-armed form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rama denotes Dharma, Krishna denotes Ananda, and Mahaprabhu denotes Prema. So all these three together, what is that? Dharma, Ananda, and Prema. So we should have all the three. So therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed this form, the Shadbhuja form, which many devotees of ISKCON have painted this form. In fact, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed this form to Prataparudra, King Prataparudra also, he got it carved on the Jagannath Puri temple. On the outside prakar of the temple, on the Gopura, if you see on the top, you will see this painting or sculpting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shadbhuja form on the temple. Publicly, you can see that, the six-armed form of the Lord. So therefore, for us, we are more attracted to Gaurasundara, the six-armed form of the Lord, and of course, Gaurasundara himself. And the vision which was showed to Ramananda Rai was different. It was not the six-armed form. What was the form that Ramananda Rai saw? He saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu split into Radha and Krishna. And that same Radha and Krishna becomes Gauranga Mahaprabhu. This is the same deity. Most of the Gaudiya Sampradaya temples are installed. They have Radha and Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu standing next to them. Is it not? If you go to Radha Madhav, take darshan of Radha Madhav in Mayapur, you will see Radha Madhav and Gauranga Mahaprabhu standing next to him. So, therefore, the Lord likes to show his forms for us to get attracted towards him. And for us, we get attracted to Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And from this, we can also understand how to take the darshan of the Lord and how to get attracted to the Lord. And therefore, Bhagavatam teaches us a darshana paddhati. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also teaches us how we also can get attracted to Mahaprabhu. The three forms, Rama, Krishna and Mahaprabhu, are very key because all the three were there to deliver the pious. Is it not? Krishna says this clearly. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most merciful amongst all because Rama and Krishna kill the demons. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not kill the demons. He gives prema even to the demons. So therefore, he is the Mahavadanya Avatara. So therefore, for us, we can always behold the beautiful form of Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in our eyes. And this mood was set by His Grace Atul Krishna Prabhu when he was here, always speaking of Gaura Katha and His Holiness Prahlad Maharaj. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions or comments, we can discuss for a while, or corrections if you have. Otherwise, if anybody has. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hanuman. The three-dimensional form is very, very important. I'll tell you my experience. In 1952, I was in Germany, and they were showing operative surgery on the ear. And when we put the binoculars, then you see as if you are doing the operation. Even stitching and everything. Yes. So it makes such a great difference, the three-dimensional. As you were saying also, hill and legs of the... So this is the main thing that you are sitting on that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Actually, there is a deeper meaning of the universal form as well. Prabhupada writes in the purport, he also says, Vasudevam Sarvamiti. How do you see Vasudeva everywhere? When Arjuna was seeing the universal form, there were hundreds and thousands of warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. A devotee does not see hundreds and thousands of warriors on the battlefield, but he sees in those warriors Tattad Ekatma Rupa. Because we all have, there are, I don't know, 9 billion people in the world. I don't know how many billion is the population of the world. What's the human population? 8 billion? There are 8 billion forms of human beings on this planet. And what to talk of insects, animals, bacteria, and trees, and plants, and aquatics. It is said that there is a form that exists because the Lord inside takes that form. Therefore, I have a form. Therefore, there are multifarious forms. So therefore, Vak, Vani, Pada, he's seeing so many heads, he's seeing so many faces, he's seeing so many people, and he's seeing they're all existing only because of Krishna existing inside them. So this is the vision of a devotee. Universal form means to see Krishna, that everything exists inside Krishna, and Krishna exists inside everything. That there is a two perspective that we have to see, that everything exists inside Krishna, and Krishna exists in everything. Because how a pure transcendental devotee sees, he doesn't see people, he sees Krishna in them. Krishna, Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. He does not see that I'm speaking to some human. He's seeing, oh, there is Paramatma inside this person. So therefore, there is existence of Vasudeva inside him. There is Vasudeva inside him. There is Vasudeva in every atom, in every molecule of air surrounding me. So this is this is called Purna Pragna, complete awareness of the Lord at all times and places. Places means everywhere. Sometimes, there is a tendency of cheating, Sometimes we do something behind closed doors. That means you have not understood that the Lord is everywhere. So therefore, it is all times, places and circumstances. So this is also another perspective of universal form. It is just not the gigantic form. It is the form inside every person. It is the form inside every person's cells, like that. So, and then the Lord exists in millions and millions and quadrillions of forms everywhere, and He is omnipresent in that way. So that's one perspective. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, who's more merciful, Nityananda Prabhu or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And how should we offer our prayers to each of them individually?
Although Gauranga Mahaprabhu is the most merciful, Namo Mahavadanyaya, but we cannot access Gauranga Mahaprabhu directly, at least I can speak for myself, because Nityananda Prabhu is personification of Guru Tattva. So to even be able to access Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is only Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. Without Lord Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, no one can access Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore we have to access Lord Nityananda Prabhu through Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas. So it is Nityananda Prabhu who is the most merciful actually. In fact, it is depicted in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. We all know the pastime Jagai Madhai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to chop off their heads. And Nityananda Prabhu was hit. Even then Nityananda Prabhu says, don't hit them, because you have incarnated not to kill, but to give love. So I don't want you to kill my dear Lord. So imagine the Avadhuta Shikhamanis. Nityananda Prabhu is an Avadhuta. His mood is beautiful. Nityananda Prabhu is beautiful actually. So if you grab hold of Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala Jechayai. So it's Nitai Pada Kamala. Hold the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, and then he will only deliver us to Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That's my understanding, Prabhuji.
And how do we offer our prayers? Do we offer our prayers to Lord Nityananda and we give our glorification to Mahaprabhu?
Yes, sing the bhajans that Narottam Das Thakur has written about Nityananda Prabhu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, wherever we have Nityanandas, like in a few chapters, one chapter is dedicated to Nityanandas and his expansions itself. So, and the trees and sub-branches of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and things like that. So we have to meditate on how Nityananda Prabhu has manifested the mercy to everyone and what are his teachings. And we follow in that pursuit. And actually ISKCON is, Prabhupada has designed it like that. How Nityananda Prabhu was holding a grass as a twig and then begging everyone to chant the holy name of the Lord. That is the same mood when we go out for Sankirtan and distribute books. So we actually take the mood of Nityananda Prabhu. Because Gauranga Mahaprabhu was only preaching to the elite. Ramananda Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati. How can Mahaprabhu look at me at least, who is such a fool, number one. So it is Nityananda Prabhu who is actually our friend, our dearmost friend actually. So it is by his mercy we can attain Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the lovely class.
Hare Krishna.
Just a thought that I have a question as well, but we were on the call to Brigupati Prabhu like last week, and he was saying that in the schools when he's distributing books on the tables, he only reaches out to the people who look really spaced out, or like the people who think that he won't take a book.
Yeah.
I guess that's how he gets Nityananda's mercy, by approaching those people. And my question is that for us to reach the higher platforms of bhakti like bhava and prema, has Prabhupada given any timelines or anything like that for how long does it take to get to those?
Oh, Prabhupada asked this question actually. Remember that 1 minute video that we have? When do we reach the perfection of bhakti? 1 minute, Prabhupada says. 1 minute. So it's actually, time doesn't matter. It's the intensity that matters. The more intense our practice is, at least this is my limited understanding, Prabhu. This can be answered only someone who has reached that position. But this is just from a theoretical perspective. My understanding is the intensity of bhakti determines the experiences that we have. Bhakti is an inner experience actually. It is nothing external. So the amount of bliss that we are able to have in the service of bhakti depends on the intensity of bhakti and the mood with which we serve Krishna. The more, the lesser the anarthas are, the better the taste is. The more the anarthas are, we can't taste it's almost like we are cooking khichdi, but we haven't washed the bhaji properly. There's a lot of sand in it, which we did once in a retreat, and I still can't forget that day. Imagine you have not washed your spinach properly and there is soil, and you made khichdi with it. You eat a spoon of khichdi and you say, it's full of soil. So the anarthas are like that. It always impedes the bliss that we have in bhakti. As I think the more pure, I think the Hare Krishna chanting is the key for it. The more better we chant, the more we study Srila Prabhupada's books or follow the instructions of our acharyas, I think there are high chances. Actually, it doesn't matter what activity we do. Like sometimes I know you serve in the crossways. Even crossways, delivering prashadam to someone in crossways can deliver us, as long as how I take that service inside. It's the perception of the devotee of how he's taking that seva, rather than not just the seva, because everything is achintya bheda abheda tattva. So it doesn't matter in one sense. It's the perception of the devotee of how he can intensify that particular seva at that particular time, is my understanding, Prabhuji. And I think then perfection, how do we know someone has perfected bhakti? That he is tasting Krishna all times, places and circumstances. He is blissful. That is an explanation. He's not morose at any time. So that explains that he's actually in a very exalted position. He's not finding faults with anyone. He's literally in a very happy mood. You'll see some devotees around in that mood, always in that bliss mood. So you know they are tasting it. Although they might not exhibit it, or they might not probably put it in writings, yes, this is the perfection of bhakti. So that's the beauty of bhakti. The perceiver will not be able to quantify the perception. That's my understanding, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yes, Savior.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the nice class. We see in this pastime, Śrīmad he instructs Bali Maharaja to be careful of Vamnadeva, not to promise anything. And we also see as a grihastha, when someone is involving himself 24/7 in the service of Krishna, they also sometimes the Siksha Gurus or the senior devotees give them the instruction to balance and balance the material life and the spiritual life. So how do we understand this?
So repeat that question again. So in Grihastha life, sometimes our seniors advise us to balance spiritual life.
To balance the spiritual life and the material life, and not to give everything to keep. Not to give everything to Krishna, and just balance your material life.
Not to give everything to Krishna. Okay.
To balance your material life and your spiritual life. So how do we?
Okay, depends on the context of that instruction. But I can only relate to something similar I had inquired from Gaurang Darshan Prabhu when he was here. So what happens is bhakti has to be done sadhya bhakti. Sadhya bhakti means sometimes, I'll give you an example. Sometimes a devotee pushes himself. And in the act of pushing, for example, somebody says, I'll come to Mangalarati, I'll go and do all services in the temple. And then what happens? Because he's pushed himself so hard, what has happened? You know what has happened? So let's say he's done seva all the way till the evening and he's cooking. And somebody comes and says, Prabhu, by the way, what are you making? And because he's trained, he blurts out on that devotee, what are you doing, Prabhu? Blah, 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 blah. Why? Because he's stressed out. He's stressed out. So sometimes devotees or acharyas advise us to execute bhakti with caution, because based on my capacity, you should balance. Balance doesn't mean hold yourself back from Krishna. Balance means sadhya bhakti. Do what you are capable of to a certain degree, where you are not bringing out your anarthas and committing offenses, because that is detrimental to my own bhakti. Make sense? So for example, let's say somebody doesn't have the capacity to do too many services. He's pushing himself so much, but because he has too many anarthas inside, it comes out because he's stressed himself so much. Now he's going on blaspheming devotees everywhere. So therefore, Maharaj will say, you don't come to Mangalarti, you sleep well and come and do chanting later. Why that instruction is given? So that the senior devotee can see he's not ready yet for that level of austerity. But he says, but when you chant at 7 a.m., sit in one place and chant. Follow this austerity rather than coming to Mangalarti, because probably your work demands 7-8 hours of sleep. So therefore, senior devotees or whom are mentors will know how sometimes where to tell him not to come and when to come. And therefore, these instructions, when we follow, we gradually come to the point of giving everything to Krishna, because sometimes we might have a perception that I'm giving everything to Krishna, but actually I'm giving everything to myself. Sometimes devotees, this is just an understanding I'm saying, not that we are like that. Sometimes devotees in the garb of doing bhakti are only fortifying their false ego. Understand this. Devotees in the garb of doing intense bhakti actually are not doing bhakti. They are just fortifying their false ego. Hey, look, I gave a class. Hey, look, I know so many verses. Hey, look how nicely I dress the deities. Hey, look how I come to Mangalarti every day. Hey, look how I chant nicely. Hey, look how nicely settled I am in the life. It's Krishna's. What's happening here? It's not bhakti. That is not bhakti at all. It is just an expression of false ego externally getting displayed as bhakti's activities. They are just externally being displayed as bhakti. It's not bhakti. Bhakti is an affair of the heart. It is not nothing external. Make sense? Somebody might go on chanting 64 rounds, but inside if he's just saying, hey, I chant, Prabhu, you know what, Prabhu, 16 is okay, Prabhuji. Sometimes, most times I chant 64. What is he doing? He's just fortifying his false ego. He's not chanting, you know what I mean? So bhakti is not something external at all. You're getting my point? You can create a robot, give it the japamala and program it to chant 24/7. Will it go back home back to Godhead? It's like that. This body is a robot. You're creating some sounds and you're doing something on the mala. It is external. But what is important is how that is impacting my consciousness. That is the key. So therefore, instructions have to be understood in that perspective. Does it make sense? So that example when I said fortifying, it is called ahankar pushtikaran. Bhakti activity should not become an pushtikaran of the ahankar. Actually, bhakti should make us more malleable. A true sign of a bhakta means he becomes trinadapi sunichena tarorapi. So this is the definition of a devotee. Then you know, then his bhakti is perfect. Otherwise, actually, Are, itna bhakti karta hai, how come he's so egoistic? That means he's not doing bhakti. It is just the ahankar pushtika. He's only, what is happening, that activity that is doing actually is becoming detrimental to him because he is becoming more egoistic, more and more egoistic. What happened to Hiranyakashipu after doing 10,000 years of yoga, tapasya? It has actually become ahankar for him. It has become turned out to be somebody who is meditating, Om Brahmaya Namaha. How did he open his eyes and wanted to kill Hari? Because that 10,000 years of tapasya has only fortified his false ego. He's not gone his peace of mind has not been attained. So therefore even it applies to bhakti as well. Although the devotees sometimes think he's doing bhakti, it is not bhakti. It is bhakti in the mode of ignorance. Therefore he will not get the true fruit of bhakti, which is the bliss of serving the Lord. Does it make sense? So therefore, we have to apply those instructions because the seer, they can see what's going on in our lives. And when our Guru Maharaj or some senior devotee says, Prabhu, don't do this, just do that. Yes, Prabhuji, thank you. You know better. Drashta, he's the drashta. Drashta means the seer. So therefore, we agree and do that. And when we do that, what we are doing, two things. We are following the instruction. Why? Because he's a Varishta Vaishnava, he's a senior Vaishnava, he's advised me. So Krishna is saying, he's agreeing. Because you see, Prathu Maharaj is incarnation of the Lord himself. He wanted to do 100 yagnas, but Indra is coming and stealing his yagna, the 100th yagna. And Brahmaji says, Prathu, don't do the yagna. Now imagine Prathu is saying, Prabhu, I am doing yagna. That guy is coming and stealing my yagna. You should be going and preaching to him, not to me. Did Prathu say that? No, Prathu said, I will not do because you are telling me. And you know what happened? The Lord said, you not doing the yagna is actually a yagna. So you following the instructions of your superior is actually bhakti than what you think is doing is bhakti. Make sense? That is what the Lord is testing. Samajh mein aa raha hai?
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Beautiful question. Very deep questions you ask. Thank you. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande.